So this is the one we talked about earlier on, the Banshee, the woman fairy. And, you know, that's kind of a funny looking Banshee there, but there's, you know, internet for you. But anyway, the thing about the Banshee is, you've probably all heard that she's known for screaming, and really horribly as well. Now the whole idea of this is that the Banshee is really kind of a harbinger of death. And they're usually associated with, you know, 5 or 6 old Gaelic families. But over time, you know, with marriage and, you know, people coming and going from Ireland, it's pretty much anyone of Irish descent now. But basically what happens is the Banshee can actually foresee someone's death. And they will show up and they will let you know, but not in a sort of a nice, you know, note or something like that. Yeah, you're going to die in a couple of days, so I'll let you know about it, get your plans together, kind of a thing. They'd rather show up and practically kill you before you died by this all howling, terrifying, deathly scream. You know, that's just kind of their calling card. So one of the things that, if you're about to die or someone in your family is about to die, you may get a glimpse of the Banshee. And usually they show up as this sort of wacky, ethereal, floating woman with, you know, kind of like a witch, but sort of semi-transparent, and she's kind of grey, silvery kind of hair, be floating in a tree or something like that, or sitting on the side of a road. And they have these silver combs that they comb their hair, and they have kind of glowing eyes, you know, and sunken grey skin, and bony fingers with long nails and things like that. And so you'll be happily on your way, coming back from the bar probably. Usually this is when this happens, so I don't know if the whiskey might have something to do with this as well. But anyway, so you're on your way home. Oh, yep, you're skipping, got a whole full lifetime ahead of me, and then suddenly you hear this unearthly howling scream, and you look up and there'll be this floating crazy looking woman with her bony fingers staring you down, and it's said to be the most terrifying sound anyone has ever heard in the entire world. I don't know, maybe Carolyn could probably do it pretty good. Horrible. Yeah, add some special effects on that, you know, you'll get the picture. Well, basically either they die 3 days later, or someone in their family dies 3 days later. So you really don't want to meet a Banshee. There's other things about the Banshees as well. Because they're a woman fairy, fairies are sort of known for trying to trap people or to steal away children. This is one of the great sort of highlights of the fairies in Ireland. There's a myriad of stories about them stealing people's children. And they get up to all kinds of conundrums and crazy outlandish things to do it. But one of the common ways is actually they leave out these beautiful silver combs. You know the one I was telling you about just a few minutes ago, like, you know, the Banshee combing her hair and doing all that kind of malarkey. Well, anyway, they would like leave these beautiful silver combs lying around for children to spot them. And of course the kids would like immediately pick it up, and as soon as they did it, a spell would envelop them and they'd be whisked off to the fairy realm, never to be seen again. So nobody knows quite what was going to happen to them in the fairy realm, but they never returned. In fact, fairies are often known for actually switching children in their cots at night as well. You know, there'll be like a kid who suddenly gets really kind of annoying overnight, and they say, oh, he was swapped, he's not a real baby, he's a fairy child, he's an imposter. And there was all these kinds of myths and legends all throughout Ireland. And but the comb was a very strong one. I remember as a kid I was forever looking for combs. I was like picking them up everywhere, because I always thought it'd be great to go to the fairy realm myself. You know, I thought, this has got to be awesome. I mean, there's magic and you're living in the air and under the sea. You know, what could be bad about that, you know? So anyway, it never happened. I'm still here. I suppose I did get to go across the sea eventually and sort of met a fairy of sorts, I would say. There she is. So there's other variants of the Banshee as well. There's this one here. She's kind of an interesting version of the Banshee. This is the Bean-Nighe, which is just, like I say, the harbinger of death as well. But her way of telling that you're going to die is a little bit different. Usually if you're going into battle, or you're going into a fight, or you're going to do something incredibly dangerous, this is when the Bean-Nighe shows up. And she's known in Ireland as the old hag or the washerwoman. And on your way to whatever, you know, bad situation you're about to get into, you might spy the Bean-Nighe in a little creek or a stream or a big puddle in the ground or something like that. And she'd be bent over, kind of, you know, as she is there, you know, doing her thing, looking all kind of grizzled and old. She'd be washing her clothes and doing that. So as you get closer, you're like, oh, she's a weird looking woman, you know. And you get closer and you notice that there's red in the water, and you realize suddenly that, oh, that's blood. And then as you get closer and closer, you start to kind of recognize those pair of jeans. That's mine. You know, you start to see your own clothes being washed, and this is how they let you know that you're going to die. Basically, if you go to battle, you're going to be speared, and blood's going to get all over your fancy jeans or whatever you're wearing that day, your suit of armour, depending on what time, you know, that the sad event happened, you know. So it's all a little bit mad. So you really don't want to meet the Bean-Nighe. But people have tried to go out of their way to meet the Bean-Nighe, because there's another sort of odd thing about her. She can actually show up as a beautiful woman as well. It's this thing about the fairies is they're also shapeshifters, which is, if I ever had a superpower, Karen would tell you, like, I bring this up constantly. Like, I would always wanted to be a shapeshifter, so I could, like, be anybody for a day, or be an eagle or something like that. Just be the best superpower ever. But anyway, so the fairies have this ability to shapeshift, which is partly why I wanted to find a lot of combs when I was a kid as well, because I thought maybe they'll show me how to do it. But anyway, so they can show up as these beautiful women as well, and so they can entice people to their death that way, or steal your children by being nice. But one of the things, when they show up as a hag, you can't quite see it in this picture, but they're shown as a hag with one breast and quite often one eye as well. And legend has it that if you see a Bean-Nighe and it's not your clothes in the puddle, if you can sneak around her and suckle on the breast, then you will be given a magical wish. So apparently people have tried, you know, and I'm sure there's a lot of old women in the Midlands of Ireland who have been fairly traumatised now. You know, some drunken guys going home, oh, he eats the washer.